Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for April 3, 2024. And in the news this evening, St. Elizabeth farmer charged for allegedly fatally chopping man with a hoe. The St. Elizabeth police have charged a farmer with the murder of another farmer following a dispute in Comapen district in St. Elizabeth. He is 37-year-old Jermaine Reed, also known as Afro, of Comapen district. The Black River Police say about 6 p.m. on March 16, a team was summoned to quell a dispute between Reed and Travis Powell, a 62-year-old farmer from the same district. However, before the team arrived, Reed allegedly wielded a hoe, striking Powell in the head. Powell was subsequently transported to hospital for treatment, where he succumbed to his injuries 2 days later. Reed surrendered himself to the police in the presence of his attorney on March 25. He was formally charged following a question and answer session. Truck overturns on Stony Hill Main Road. A truck carrying construction material overturned on the Stony Hill Main Road in St. Andrew this morning. The passengers of a Nissan AD wagon that was traveling in the opposite direction were injured in the incident and have been rushed to hospital along with the truck driver. Members of the security forces directed traffic as firefighters worked to clear the roadway. The busy thoroughfare that connects St. Mary and St. Andrew was reduced to single-lane traffic. Charred remains of former policeman found in St. Catherine. The charred remains of a former policeman was discovered in a section of Mountain Pass District, St. Catherine on Tuesday. He has been identified as 72-year-old Albert Campbell of Mountain Pass District. Campbell's burnt body was found near an abandoned quarry about 3:30 p.m. The body was reportedly found after a bushfire in the area. The body was removed for post-mortem. Man accused of fraudulently switching notes during foreign exchange transaction. The St. Elizabeth police have charged Dwight Johnson, also known as the Lynx or Foodie, a 36-year-old businessman of New Harbor Village, Meepen, Clarendon, with the offense of larceny by trick. The police say on February 22, the complainants accompanied Johnson and another individual to purchase U.S. currency equivalent to $1,960,000. During the transaction, one of the individuals submitted the intended bag of U.S. dollar notes with one containing only U.S. $1 notes, absconding with a substantial sum. The police say subsequent investigation identified Johnson as a suspect, leading to his arrest in Clarendon. Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto says one suspect remains at large. He is urging members of the public to be cautious about individuals involved in the sale or purchase of U.S. currency outside of authorized financial institutions. Minto emphasizes the importance of conducting such transactions through legitimate channels. Notably, this scam is not new, but has resurfaced. This incident marks the third reported occurrence since the beginning of the year, he said. Old woman charged with stabbing at a church. An elderly woman was made the subject of strict bail conditions when she appeared in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on Monday, facing allegations that she stabbed a member of her church in the back at the house of worship. Janet Myers was offered bail in the sum of $250,000 with a condition that she resides with her sister and is not to have contact or communicate with the complainant. Another condition imposed by presiding Judge Carlo Mason requires that Myers abides by a daily curfew and is to receive psychiatric treatment. The elderly woman was also instructed to stay away from the vicinity where the incident happened. Allegations state that Myers stabbed the complainant in her spine while she was in the bathroom of the church. However, prosecutors contend that the case file is incomplete and requested an adjournment for May 29. Man hits a baby mother for not getting child ready. A corporate airman admitted to kicking and punching his child's mother after she refused to get their child dressed to attend the hospital. "It's not like how it sounds, Your Honor. Me just thump her," admitted Rahima Bailey. He pleaded guilty to assault occasioning actual bodily harm on Tuesday in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court before Parish Judge Carlo Mason. It was shared that an argument developed between Bailey and the complainant after he told her to get their 9-month-old daughter ready for the doctor. However, when Bailey returned and saw the child was not clothed, he punched the complainant in her face, then kicked her to the ground. "Really? He's a bad man. Is that how you deal with the mother of your child, sir? I think you guys need counseling," expressed the Mason. The matter was referred to mediation and is to return to court on June 26 for mention. Airport workers' lawyer gives a closing arguments in 2023 cocaine trial. Following Tuesday's closing arguments in the trial of Jermaine Scott, the airport ramp worker who reportedly had 2.5 kilograms of cocaine hidden in his worker raincoat, the St. James Parish Court has set April 12 as a date when he will be found innocent or guilty. Scott, 34, had his bail extended following his latest court appearance on Tuesday after both his attorney, Henry McCurdy, and the prosecution delivered their closing arguments before presiding Judge Sasha Marie Smith Ashley. Scott had been on trial on the charges of possession of, dealing in, and attempting to export cocaine following his arrest at the Sanctuary International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James in January 2023. During closing arguments on Tuesday, McCurdy declared that the prosecution's assertions that the raincoat in which the cocaine was allegedly found belonged to Scott and that he had gone to retrieve it from a bathroom at the time of his arrest were senseless and without a foundation. Only a madman would have a contraband in a room and turn back for it to pass by the customs officer. The real issue is Mr. Scott a madman? Any person who turned back, pick up a raincoat with cocaine and try to pass a customs officer would have to be a madman. But my client said from the witness box, "I am not a madman," said McCurdy, referencing testimony Scott had previously given during his evidence in chief. "We are not saying cocaine was not found, but was the cocaine in the possession, control, and the knowledge of Mr. Scott? We are saying no," McCurdy added. "Mr. Scott was not in possession of that raincoat with its contents. The Crown has failed to prove that Mr. Scott was in possession of that raincoat. They have failed miserably." Meanwhile, the prosecution put forward in its closing arguments that the testimony of its 3 prosecution witnesses was legitimate and truthful, and that Scott's position at the Sanctuary International Airport would have given him the opportunity to smuggle the cocaine onto the airline ramps. Smith Ashley subsequently deferred her judgment in the trial until April 12 and extended Scott's bail to that date, as she was not in a position to review the evidence during Tuesday's court proceedings. Scott, who first appeared in the St. James Parish Court on February 3, 2023, was arrested at the Sanctuary International Airport by investigators assigned to the Narcotics Division after the cocaine was allegedly found in his possession during a law enforcement operation by the Narcotics and the Customs Contraband Enforcement Team. The cocaine reportedly had a street value of approximately US $125,000 or Jamaican $19.2 million. According to the allegations, Scott was seen trying to retrieve a raincoat with a contraband from a bathroom at the airport at the time of his arrest on January 29, 2023. Cop involved in fatal Manchester shooting removed from frontline duty. The off-duty police officer who was involved in the fatal shooting of 24-year-old Jamar Clark in Lancaster, South Manchester last week has been removed from frontline duty. Deputy Superintendent Colin Johnson, in charge of operations for Manchester, disclosed that the officer was transferred to another location during a meeting with Mr. Clark's family and residents in Lancaster Square on Tuesday afternoon. Mr. Clark was shot by the policeman after he allegedly drove threateningly towards a team of officers at an event at Winston Jones High School on March 27. He had reportedly become involved in an altercation with the persons at the event and appeared to be drunk. Residents have disputed the police's report on the shooting and mounted roadblocks in sections of the community to protest the manner in which Mr. Clark was shot. In an effort to ease tensions and restore calm to the community, residents were on Tuesday given the opportunity to vent their frustrations and to get answers to a number of issues.
You would have pierced him in the front, which is okay. okay because you're defending yourself. You're defending yourself, and that's what we've been hearing. He has been defending himself. That's okay with us. But the bullet that was lodged in his neck, that self-defense after 3 was fired in the front.
The senior cop appealed for residents to allow the probe being carried out by the Independent Commission of Investigations to take its course.
You're asking me a question. I was not on the scene.
Okay, sir.
Well, none of us here are the investigators. So the investigators will know what transpired.
Okay, sir.
Everything that you say, we are hearing for the first time.
Okay,
and so that the investigator will honor that. We are also grieving. Yes, I mean. And so we are here to bond together so we can strengthen each other. So the building process started today. And so we're going to work as a team going forward, work as a team to get the road clear. All right?
Residents cleared the roads of debris following the meeting after the police agreed to facilitate and support a candlelight vigil. Political aspirant for Manchester Southern, Senator Peter Bunting, has called for the police to practice more human interest policing rather than the warrior approach. Senator Bunting said allegations of aggression by the police towards residents in the aftermath of the fatal shooting of Jamar Clark in Lancaster have fueled distrust.
What we want is more of the guardian approach. Don't wait until only when an unfortunate incident happens. I know Sergeant Kova and his team, their mandate is to maintain ongoing relations with the community so that when something happens, there are trusted bonds, there are trusted relationships already established. Even if the people don't trust who is here at the roadblock, but there's somebody that they can call